Alright guys, what is going on? Finally back with another video. I know it's been a while. So anyway, we're out here on a farm today. We've got a John Deere 7220 with an 18.4 38 on the rear we got to fix. It was flat where it was located at. I put air in it to get it up and rolling, get it next to a water spigot, put it under some shade because it's hot as you know what out here in Florida right now. And hopefully we can go ahead and repair the tube, put it all back together, and not have to run back into town to get a tube because I didn't bring one with me. And let's see what happens. This video, I've got to do something a little different. It's the first time doing it voiceover, so hopefully it comes out right. What happened, I've got a little external mic that I put on my phone, but I didn't put the dead cat on it, the little wind blocker, because I figured there really wasn't any wind. We were up under a barn and maybe it would help with the audio, but after going back on the video, found out that that was a total bust. It was just super crackly, you could barely hear anything. Kind of ruined it, but we're going to try this voiceover. So to get into it, we have an 18.4 38 on the rear of a tractor. Once I got on scene, it looks like the tire was flat, completely flat, so aired it up to get it moved over to a barn, get out of the Florida heat, get closer to a water spigot and a hose so we can once we were done, we can fill it back up with water. I did notice when I aired it up initially that the water was coming out around the valve stem pretty heavy. So once we got over to the barn and I removed the little retaining ring around the tube, I noticed that the water was coming out quite a bit. So kind of an indication that one, it's been leaking for a while, or another indication that the tube might have been damaged. And I was kind of going with the tube being damaged because the customer told me that it just happened, and they rode it back to the barn like that. So anyway, let's get into this. Alright guys, so in this part I'm just kind of going over what I just told you about getting the machine over up under the barn closer to the water spigot, and how the valve stem is dead top. It's on the back side though, but that's important because I always ask a customer if they want water back in the tire, or as others call it, ballast. Do they want it halfway filled, 3/4 filled, or all the way? And it all depends on the application and what they're doing with it. And like this customer, he's got a disc blade kind of attachment on the back where he goes in disc out in the field, so he wants it filled all the way up with water. So we got the valve stem at the top. If you want it 3/4 of the way or halfway, let's just say halfway, you would put the valve stem at either 3 o'clock position or 9 o'clock, and that makes it easier because as you're filling, you'll notice and you'll kind of hear the stream of water hitting the back of the tire as you're water filling it. And once it gets to where the valve stem is, you'll start to notice some back pressure at the water fill adapter, and you won't hear the stream anymore. And it just makes it a little easier when you're water filling. So what we're looking at here is my Esco bead breaker with a little performance pump, I believe it is, and it's got this black protective coating around the pump, and it's low profile and wide, which is, it's an awesome pump. It's better than the standard just the yellow ones. They crack a little bit easier and they're taller, so sometimes when you got your hand on the tire and the bead breaker and you go to put your foot on the pump is flipped over or something. I don't have any issues with this. I bought this used years ago from another tire guy, and it's been great. The only thing that was missing was the T handle that was on top of the bead breaker. As you can see, it's kind of like silver looking. I just had somebody make one. Now here I'm just kind of showing you how most tractor tires for the most part will have this little spot. It's kind of a section on the tire that is meant for you to put the bead breaker or your slam bar or your hammer, kind of start the bead separation part. Most of the time it'll say like pry notch, or like this one says dismounting groove, and there's a little gap in between the bead or the side wall of the tire and the rim, just enough so you can get the bead breaker in there. But what I'm going to demonstrate to you here is what happens if a tractor tire, or even a bigger loader tire or something, doesn't have that pry notch. Alright, so here we're going to use my fancy not so curved spoon bar, and we've lubed up the side of the tire and the bead area, and I'm going to do this about kind of hip high, and there's a reason for that. But we're going to take the spoon bar and tap it in between the wheel and the tire until you hear kind of a solid sound where it bottomed out on the wheel. And just have everything close by. Your foot pumps close by, your bead breaker is right there, so it's kind of all one motion here. But we're going to push the tire back as so, and we'll take the bead breaker and put it in between the wheel and the tire. The center of the bead breaker, the foot that actually comes out and pushes the tire back, you want that to be in line with the spoon bar. And the reason for that is when it clamps down onto the wheel and that center foot goes back to push the tire, that it's actually going to push the spoon bar back. And by doing that, that's going to help you push the tire back and break the bead, as you see here. Time it's going to use this spoon bar to push back. Alright, because this tire is a little heavy, it's filled with water still. On a normal truck, or tractor, you would start up here, work yourself around. Sometimes when it's real heavy, you want to start on the side, so you're not actually picking up the tire. Here, since there's so much weight, we're going to kind of start here at the bottom. There's already a gap. Spoon bar. I'm gonna get a little low, so I peel back. Since I don't have much room to hold it with my waist, I'm actually gonna try to pry it against this attachment back here. Alright, bottomed out. It's gonna be kind of wedged it up on this attachment here. And you can see as it'll push back, it'll push the spoon bar back as well. Now This speed breaker isn't on all the way, but since there isn't that much pressure on this, not really worried about it. If it was something that was pretty stiff, I would kind of reset it like that. At this point, if it's mainly broken here but it's still stuck, you can take either one of your bars, put it along here, just kind of work it, and it'll pop off. If not, you're just going to have to keep moving the bead breaker along. What'll happen sometimes when the tire is hanging like it is now, the tube will get stuck in between the bead and the wheel, and you can't pull it out from the other side like it is there. So there's two things: you can lower the jack down a little bit and help take it out, or you can kind of push it back and try to take it out that way. So what I did is lower the jack. Now there's kind of a little gap there. Here I've got my cup. I'm going to go ahead and remove the rest of the water out of the tire, get my flashlight and a rag, and inspect the inside, make sure the liner is good, and see if I can see anything that punctured the tube. Here I'm just saying, anytime I have to leave a job site for any reason, I always try to pick up all my tools and take them with me. One being, if you leave them out, anybody can steal them. Or if you're out and about and you get another call, you've got all your tools with you and you didn't leave them at the previous job. Alright guys, quick update on what happened. Couldn't get the tube. Being that it's a Saturday, I'm going to have to wait till Monday. The owner's okay. With the machine being down, they're not going to use it. So Monday morning we'll get a tube, and sometime Monday we'll be back out there to finish up the job, finish up the video, because I know you guys been asking me. I haven't posted a video like in 6 months. My bad. It's just a lot of stuff goes on, and to make a video, especially an instructional video, it's a little hard when there's a lot of stuff going on the job site. Customers being nosy, a lot of noise. It's hard.